This, I understand, could be attributed to the use of marijuana. It causes errors in time, space.
Thank you for joining us on Talking High Culture. We are live. It is another Wednesday night. It's great to be here.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. It's another Wednesday. Check us out on talkinghighculture.com and let's get rolling, Marco.
Let's get rolling. So one thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about with us having Talking High Culture is a little bit of where our origins start. So really quickly, to kind of fast forward.
Sorry, I was trying to read away.
It's all good. One thing that I want to share with you guys is a little bit of an origin of Talking High Culture. So when I started working at the dispensary, I really was enamored by the cannabis industry. You know, I've been smoking weed for a very long time before hopping into the industry. I've worked at smoke shops. I worked at Amazon. I've worked for the DARE program. I've smoked weed my whole life. That's what led me to build Talking High Culture on the foundation of cannabis. Now that we're moving forward in a different direction, I wanted to kind of share a little bit more of that origin. So Talking High Culture, the word culture is something that we wanted to explore because as a whole, the cannabis culture and as a whole, the cannabis industry breeds culture, and there's so much involved in like marketing, retail, distribution, growth, um, all these different levels within the industry in regards to cannabis. Sorry.
Bong Pak Saya.
Bong pak.
Bong Pak.
Get this bowl going too. But now that we're shifting away from cannabis culture, we're shifting more towards a general culture. And the way that I came up with the term cannabis culture, or sorry,
As I rip this bong, we're shifting away from cannabis culture.
we still have cannabis as part of our friend group, right? It's still one of the staples. It's the linchpin that really holds us together because we all started from the dispensary. So I wanted to start a podcast to teach people about the industry, but it's become very hard and a little bit ineffective to do it the way that I personally felt was the way that I wanted to do it. So instead, we're taking this shift and still applying the term culture to a more wider general audience.
A broad spectrum, if you will.
Fizzle gigs. So us stoners aren't important enough for you now? And that's not the case at all. It's more of a sense for marketing and how we're able to get a much more broader appeal. Right?
Especially because once we get that broader appeal that we're aiming for, we can start dialing in on what we originally set out to do by bringing more like cannabis news and that like talking high culture part, where it's always going to be high culture. Not to cut you off, Marco, but like we we do need to show you guys like who we are as a collective to help you guys trust, like to help all of you trust us more, so that way you'll believe us as a reliable source when we do inevitably bring up like news and actual like articles and real world things.
Yeah. Fizzle Gig says we pigeonholed, we made ourselves, and that's absolutely true, 100%. And I think that in order to get out of that, it's just a pivot. And it's not even a huge pivot because we'll still be smoking on cam. A lot of our humor will still involve cannabis in the background, but it's not going to be the main focus. The way that I got to cannabis culture, the way that I got culture to be part of the name, was actually from watching the Bee Movie. In there, it's just bees, right? And through that, I learned that there's a whole culture that. So let me dial it back again. The way that I came up with the culture part of Talking High Culture was through bee culture, right? Bee culture, I thought, was a really funny term to talk about everything that's encompassing the bee industry.
Mhm.
And I felt a lot of similarities between cannabis and bees that it kind of just inspired me to utilize the culture part of that name as the C for Talking High Culture, THC. I knew that I wanted to do a podcast, so I knew that there was going to be a lot of talking involved. And then the H for high just kind of came naturally to form THC. In Jerry Seinfeld's The Bee Movie, there is a parallel between bees and the Jewish community and Jewish culture.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Based off of who he is and like his type of comedy style.
100%. So that in particular, I felt was something that inspired me a little bit to utilize such a simple concept into the naming structure for Talking High Culture. And I want to circle back to that root because there's three things that kind of encompass Talking High Culture, and that would be cannabis, right, culture, and comedy. So the three C's that we're trying to focus on would be those three things. Culture can encompass many different things, from actual different ethnic backgrounds to different food cultures, different music appreciation cultures, all these different wide general areas that we can reach. Sports culture. Check out our Instagram and our YouTube to see a short where we talk about lacrosse. Yeah, that one is pretty good. We want to talk about all these different types of cultures. We still have cannabis as the linchpin, and then comedy because I like to think that we're all funny dudes. Not right now because we're being a little bit more serious, but we all have comedic desires.
Excuse my yawn right there.
We all have an element of desire, a desire to have comedic elements that are above what we currently have. So yeah, when it comes to the Bee Movie, that was a huge inspiration for like comedy, cannabis, or comedy and culture together combined. And I think that it just gave me an appreciation for creativity and bringing people together. The culture part actually has to do more with community, I feel. When we use culture, not only is it appreciation of all those different things that I described, but it's also bringing people together to appreciate those things, is what culture is. It's one thing to appreciate those things on your own, but to appreciate them with the people around you, I feel is an elevated experience, which is, again, Talking High Culture.
I could agree with that. It's always better to hang out and enjoy experiences like with people than alone. I mean, granted, everybody's different, but for the most part, like majority of life experiences are great to experience with someone else to like be there to share. Comedy, cannabis, and lacrosse. Hey, don't judge us on our lacrosse our lacrosse judgment, I guess. I was trying to find a different word. I've only known what I barely seen played.
So, having that said, we're going to just warm up talking and appreciating our favorite animated films that have inspired the type of comedy that we like. I know that one thing that we particularly like in general is Shrek. Shrek is another DreamWorks property. What would you say is your favorite line from Shrek?
Ooh, favorite line from Shrek.
I'll even give you get three. You get three lines from Shrek. Oh, that wasn't
It talks.
It talks.
So he's referring to Donkey.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta go with the classic, the better out than in.
Better out than in, I always say.
And then if I had to narrow it down to like another one,
Say it with the voice.
oof. Oh, you might have to give me a minute.
Okay.
You go.
I got it, right.
You go with a couple.
So, parfaits have layers. Everybody loves a parfait. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like drop and
Oh yeah, I have to go with yeah. If that's the case,
oh, the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man.
Tin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane.
She's married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
Man.
She's married to the Muffin Man.
Hey, pick number 3, my lord.
Pick number
That's
three, my
another
lord.
one that's up there.
That's actually my
They're
favorite.
coming back to me now. The more I'm thinking about it.
Just stem off of it. Pick number 3, my lord. That's
Oh,
my
after the
favorite.
parfait line. Oh, you got a napkin over there? I'm dribbling.
I'm dribbling. Ogres are like onions.
They have layers. Um.
As you know, some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Welcome to Duloc, such a perfect place. Here we have some. Oh fuck!
Oh, you didn't have it?
Wait,
Chris
welcome
failed on
to
camp.
Duloc, welcome to. Here we have some roast. Let us lay them down. Please keep off all that. Oh, I remember. Please keep off all that grass. Shine your shoes. Wipe your face. Yeah. Damn it! I used to know.
Let's do that again.
No, 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 no. Well, let's not
Let's.
and say we did.
Actually, that I've used that quite a few times.
Oh yeah.
No.
Let's not say we did.
Let's not and say we did. With my son, dude, he'll be pressing the buttons over and over again at Walmart, like on the toys and stuff.
Oh
and
god.
he'll be like, "Yeah, let's do it one more time." And I'm like, "No.
Let's just walk away.
Yeah. The Pink Panther. Oh, from the cartoon?
Cartoon. The Pink Panther had lines in that?
I'm curious.
I feel like all the Pink Panther cartoons I remember watching growing up, like there was never any lines. It was just noises and sound effects.
That's what I thought, but
There's
I might
no
be wrong
actual
on
lines.
that. Yeah. There's the Pink Panther movie with what's his name, Steve Martin.
But still, like
Now, my favorite line from that is
I don't remember that movie.
hamburger.
Hmm.
He just can't say hamburger right. I think it's hilarious.
I don't remember that movie. No, I don't. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, Pink Panther doesn't have any lines.
He started to get the joke. Thanks, Fizzle.
I was like, wait a fucking minute.
I think that when it comes to Shrek 1 has obviously the most memorable lines. I can't really think of Shrek 2 lines, honestly.
Be good. We need speed.
Oh yeah. There's look at me.
Oh yeah.
I'm a stallion.
I can whinny. Oh, my favorite line. I can count. That is that every time I see that fucking scene of him saying I can count sends me every damn time, dude. I love that. That is a top tier, like all-time comedy scene for me is fucking him. I can count. Like on the spectrum as hell. Just pure gold. Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy's great. Eddie Murphy and Norbit's phenomenal. I love Norbit, dude. Oh my god. But we're talking about he says, and yes, the Steve Martin Pink Panther is good. See, yeah, but my only line I can remember is the hamburger line.
I've never actually seen that one.
I like Steve
If
Martin.
I think about it, I do like Steve Martin.
Well, okay, we can go on a Steve Martin tangent. The Three Amigos, that's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then 2 wild and crazy guys.
Oh, that's the SNL skit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Three Amigos was SNL too. But
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, that is true.
Movie.
What am I talking about? That is 100% true.
Cheaper by the dozen.
Was that an SNL skit?
No, that was just Steve Martin.
I thought maybe the mom and the dad.
The time I watched Liar Liar where I don't end up busting a was, you stuffed her like a turkey, did you? Oh my god, I remember that shit. No, mine for Liar Liar, it's when he's beating the hell out of himself in the bathroom. I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind? The guy walks in on him.
Yeah.
And then if you notice, Jim Carrey cameos in the background of the movie is firefighter Jim.
Your turkey thing, yeah.
No, that's where I got it from.
Oh, that's what you're reading it
Yeah.
off of. I'm sorry. I got a little late on the party.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, yeah, common.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't seen too
blank-
much with Steve Martin.
Yeah, I'm blanking out on it.
But he's
I feel
great.
I feel like I know him, and what I've seen him and of him is always been
It's
great.
always great.
Yeah.
Let's circle back to DreamWorks. Okay, so what other DreamWorks is up your alley?
What the fuck is DreamWorks?
So if we're
Finding
talking
Nemo?
about like
Finding Nemo DreamWorks? Is that
Finding
Pixar?
Nemo's Pixar, Disney.
Damn it.
You have okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and fire off some DreamWorks
Why am
films.
I blanking on DreamWorks?
No, you're good, bro. Sorry, Fizzle. We're taking. I won't be able to see you for a second. DreamWorks films. Boom. This is the power of the internet.
I feel like I know, but I'm just blanking on them.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Wiki. Oh, Ants. Okay.
So
Prince of Egypt. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was fucking great.
I think Prince of Egypt
I've never
is
seen that in theater.
Prince of Egypt has such a impact in my brain.
It's an undersold movie.
There's Road to El Dorado. Actually,
okay, now it's kicking in. DreamWorks.
Shell everyone. Shell everyone.
Tulio Miguel and Tulio. Yo, we could do that for Halloween.
No good. No good.
We could
Sacrifice. No good.
We could
Not today.
We could 100% Miguel and Tulio.
You think so? Wait, which one? Who's who? Tulio is taller and has black hair.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. I mean, one has
But
blonde
wait,
hair.
you're taller than me though.
But
No?
one has blonde hair and it looks a little bit more whiter.
Yeah, but you're taller than me, so I don't know if it. Right? Is Chris taller than me? Everyone?
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna show it on camera. We know that Chris is taller than me, but for the clip.
For the clip. For the stream.
For the stream, and then for the clip. All right. So can we do? Hold on. Can we do Miguel and Tulio?
Tulio Miguel.
No, I don't think so. Are you pulling up Miguel and Tulio?
Yeah.
You pulled up the whole video. I thought you were just gonna pull up an image.
I was trying to.
You'd have to grow out your hair again, unless the joke is that you're taller. Yeah, I don't think we'd be able to pull that one off.
Oh,
Actually, you know what?
Okay, that one's Tulio.
But you don't have long hair like that no more.
Miguel is the.
So I could do my hair that short, and I would go blonde for the joke, right? But
Yeah, because that's Miguel.
yeah, I would do Miguel.
We
I
might
would
be
do
able to.
Miguel. I would.
I bet you. I
shut
bet
the
you
fuck
would.
up. I would costume up as Miguel. And I would even go so far as to dye my hair blonde, right? And dye my beard to sell the joke. But Chris doesn't have long hair anymore. So
By Halloween, I could let it grow.
you think you can get that again by
My hair,
Halloween?
I mean, something close to, maybe more something close to Miguel.
And then we
not
make
Tulio.
Logan and Ricky the horse.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay, that's funny. Okay, so other DreamWorks films is Chicken Run. You ever see Chicken Run?
Oh, hell yeah. I saw that in theaters.
Chicken Run was
Damn.
claymation though,
I'm
right?
aging myself, though. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm aging myself. It came out in 2000.
Came in the year 2000.
I remember seeing that in theaters.
Let's see. Joseph, King of Dreams. So DreamWorks did this whole thing where they were like
I feel like I do remember seeing that movie as well.
DreamWorks did this whole thing where they were going through like religious films, I guess it was. Shrek, May 18th, 2000. Shrek was May 18th, 2001.
Shrek was 2000. No, Shrek was right. Before 9/11. Damn, that's crazy. I never watched Spirit, but I remember seeing the trailer for it.
That's a weird way of phrasing time, Chris.
I see 2000. I'm sorry. I'm old. I see 2001, and all I can think of is 9/11. 9/11. 9/11. 9/11.
I at work today.
Where were you when they built that ladder to heaven? If you know that reference, you're a G. Drop in the comments where that song's from. Ladder to Heaven.
At work today, I had said everyone knows that the only conspiracy theory that's real is that birds aren't real.
Birds are robots.
Yeah, birds are robots. Everyone knows that. Well, if you believe,
If you believe in such things.
if you know the
Which-
truth, you know the truth.
What you didn't hear is the truth from us. But if you knew the truth, then just know that we agree to your truth.
Yeah. Anyway, so the only thing I said, everyone knows that the only conspiracy theory that's true is that birds aren't real. Huh?
We'll change the water.
Change the sweater. Okay. I'm gonna go one more time. At work today, I had said, "Oh shit! I already forgot what I was gonna say." At work, there was, I had said that there was the only conspiracy. Fucking shit! I can't even talk right now. I'm stupid high. At work today. At work today, I had said that the only conspiracy theory that's real is that birds aren't real. And somebody else had said, and that Bush did 9/11. And then we were both like, but that's true.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
We were both like, that's true. Spirit Stallion of the
Yeah, I never watched it, but I saw trailers for it.
Is that the
horse
subtitle?
movie.
Stallion of the Cimarron?
Yes.
Oh wow.
I've seen Sinbad. Sinbad was good.
Sinbad. Oh dude, I forgot about Sinbad.
Sinbad was goated.
I like that movie a lot.
Oh yeah.
2003? Dude, the mermaids in Sinbad?
No, Shark Tale was my shit.
What's crazy is that Shrek 2 came out before Shark Tale.
I mean, I see it. The upgrade in animation.
You think Shark Tale was an upgrade from Shrek 2?
Shark Tale was definitely an upgrade, animation-wise. With the underwater stuff, I think it was. It's similar, very close, but I feel like because the underwater stuff put Shark Tale a little bit above Shrek, because there was a little bit more going on. With background stuff and like water flowing and having to swim, I feel like there was a little bit more going on with Shark Tale than there was with Shrek.
Shrek had superior animation, I'm sorry. Anyways, Chris, because you're wrong. No,
Damn you.
Madagascar. Actually, I love Madagascar. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Madagascar I did enjoy. Sorry, I'm responding to my boss.
Right now, Chris, I'm your boss. Okay, I'm not paying you, so no, I'm not. So, hey, if you want me to be the boss of Chris, check out talkinghighculture.com, where you can support us in the biggest way by buying our merch. We have t-shirts that say Talking High Culture in the little corner like this. We have t-shirts with a Sailor Moon smoking a blunt. We have t-shirts that say Think Outside the Blunt. And yeah, check us out on talkinghighculture.com. You can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/talkinghighculture. Those are the easiest ways to support us. And if you do so, then I can actually be this guy's boss and be like, hey, you're working with me right now. Get the hell off your phone. But for right now, I can't because I'm not actually his boss. I'm not paying this guy. But if you want me to boss him around, well, you know what to do.
It's okay. I told her I'm going to go cry. I responded in GIFs.
Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were Rabbit.
I loved Wallace and Gromit as a child, and that movie was great. Yeah. Gromit, we're going to get some cheese.
And Wallace and Gromit was based off of a comic, wasn't it? Like a comic strip?
I think so. I'm not.
All right. Well, we have Wikipedia right here.
100% accurate on that.
It totally skipped.
It did. It went crazy. Oh.
Fourth installment, feature length.
Sports volumes and was it a comic first or was it just a cartoon?
Hold on.
Wallace and Gromit series.
The series centers on.
It's a claymation comedy franchise, so it might just be just as
Has it always
animation.
been?
It might be.
It just started that way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, oh my God, really?
Yeah.
And they just made comics out of the first movie.
Maybe.
Because I remember it started off in the
I
1950s.
just remember watching the cartoons when I was a kid.
Okay. Oh, well, let's not get sidetracked by Wallace and Gromit too much. That's crazy. Over the Hedge.
I did like Over the Hedge. I do have some fond memories in my childhood of Over the Hedge, like watching it with my family. Like that's one of the few like good memories of my family that stand out.
Over the Hedge, we watched. It was one of those movies that we kept in the DVD in the van, right? The DVD player in the van. Uh, and yeah, that one was pretty much rewatched all the time. Bruce Willis is the raccoon.
Yeah. Bruce Willis is my favorite bedtime hero.
Bruce Willis is insane, bro. Like in like the good way. I don't know much about Bruce Willis, but like every role Bruce Willis has been in, I'm like, yeah, I want to be that guy right now. Tangent. Favorite Bruce Willis movie.
Favorite Bruce Willis movie.
For me is Looper. I don't know why. I just like him in Looper a lot.
Um,
Him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Crazy.
good combo. I'd have to say my favorite Bruce Willis movie. Fuck, why am I blanking on the name? But I know the movie. I just had it.
Is it Multipass?
Yeah.
Fifth Element.
Yeah. Fifth Element.
Fifth Element, my second favorite. It used to be my first favorite, right? But
After that, sorry.
yeah, go for it.
After that one, what's the other one? Unbreakable.
I haven't seen Unbreakable.
Unbreakable's a good one. Where he's like the only survivor of this crazy train accident, and like he has like some kind of like powers. It's like a weird, super realistic version of like somebody having like some superpower shit. It's
Interesting.
trailed into the movie Mr. Glass, and then also
Oh,
the
it's
movie
like
Split
a
and everything.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's three movies that are. It's based on like a comic of those
I think
names,
some
right?
type of story or something like that. I think there might have been
That's pretty cool.
possibly
Samuel L.
It's
Jackson.
M Night Shyamalan.
M Night.
So you know there's twists. What they twist?
What that twist? M Night. It's actually pronounced M Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
Let's see. After Flush. Oh, then there's Flushed Away. Flushed Away was the movie about the mice that went.
Oh yeah,
that
I
got
didn't
the
really
drink.
remember that one too much. I feel like I've seen it, but it didn't stand out.
Mm-hmm. It was. I think it was like a in between claymation and 3D animation.
Yeah, it was like CGI-ish.
Yeah, it was
But-
CGI
but
claymation
like
or something.
CGI that looked claymation.
I think it was that.
Yeah,
Shrek the Third,
which was
not the best Shrek.
wasn't I think that was the one that had fucking Justin Timberlake in it.
Yes, as
The Prince.
King Arthur, Prince Arthur,
Yeah.
as Artie.
I'll be honest with you, I never saw a B movie.
Really, I'm over here talking. I led the podcast with B movie, and this fool's never seen it. Actually,
Never seen it.
dude, B movie's great.
Never. I don't know why I never had any interest in it. I've never been like too big of a Jerry Seinfeld fan. I respect him for what he's done, like and everything for him as a comedian. But like, I just never really been into like his comedy. Like Seinfeld, like I was forced to watch a lot growing up. I just kind of never got the appeal to it. Like I understand it, but I was just like, it's just not for me.
His comedy is so dry, and he's good at the self-deprecation aspect to his humor is more is very minimal. So it's so much like he does bits where he's talking about himself. Oh, so you do bits like, you ever notice how? Yeah, I do things like that.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how? Yeah, I do things like that. All right. It's just like the small everyday observation type stuff is what his comedy is, and it's so dry.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like his style of dry comedy.
Yeah,
For some reason, I don't like American dry comedy. British dry comedy, I can get behind.
I really like British
But
Strike.
for some reason, American dry comedy, like, is you have to really like you have to really be smart about it, I guess, for me to get it. You can't just be too dry. There, if that makes sense.
So, have you seen what is it called? The IT Crowd?
Not yet.
That's a good one. I feel like that has that good balance of
It's in my watch list.
dry humor to that British dry humor to being smart, because like it is smart. I wouldn't say
Or clever.
it's clever. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
That's what it is. It's clever. It's not like super smart, but it is clever. I would say it's definitely the precursor to Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
It's like, oh, this is dry
Yeah.
British
Okay.
Big Bang Theory's
'cause-
inspiration.
Because Big Bang Theory, I've never really. I'm like, like it's good to have on the background, I guess. But again, that was something I never was like a fan of.
Yeah.
Could really get myself into. I'm
The
like,
the biggest references to like pop culture are like the ones that for sure everybody gets. They make a reference to Superman. Yeah, everybody
Okay.
knows Superman. They
Yeah.
make a reference to Batman. Yeah, everybody knows Batman. For like Star Wars or Star Trek type stuff, they stick with Spock. They stick with Picard, and they don't make any
Yeah.
references to anybody else.
they
right?
find something and just run with it.
Yeah. It's like the type of references that it's like, okay, well, yeah, everybody does know this, but it's still very dry British humor. I like the IT Crowd a lot. It's got that guy. What's his name? Richard Ayoade. He's the guy that talks like this.
Okay, I like that guy.
Yes.
Oh, and Matt Berry's in it. I fucking love Matt Berry. He's hysterical. Chris O'Dowd. Oh, yeah. Anything I've seen him
Yeah.
in, he's always funny.
Matt Berry, I think, is a recurring
solid
character there.
cast. For the
Oh,
most
very
part.
solid cast.
Yeah.
Even the girl that they got working down there. So the premise of the show is you got two guys in the IT department, and then one girl who's more in administration gets sent down there to be their administrator. Long and short of it is that's what it is, and they're constantly having to be the IT department for some other larger company, and it's a bunch of them just being like, "Did you turn it off and on again?" Right. Oh, okay. And solving that problem for that, and then being able to do whatever the hell they
Okay.
want. Funny situation down there.
I got it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I like it.
Solid.
And then I like his voice, Richard Ayoade. He's got a funny voice.
Yeah, the way his cadence works is pretty good.
He plays in the movie Soul, a Pixar movie Soul. He plays one of the like extraterrestrial ethereal beings, the
Okay.
afterlife beings, and he has this funny saying where he goes, "Purposes? We don't assign purposes. Where did you get that?" And he's like, "Well, my spark, isn't that what he's like?" No. You mentals and your purposes, your meanings of life and such. That's not what we do here.
I think one of the first time I ever saw him was in the movie The Watch.
The Watch.
Yeah. I love that movie so much with Vince Vaughn.
Fizzle Gig IT Crowd says oh what's the deal with that? Yeah. OMG, the IT Crowd is so funny. Did you try turning it off and on again? Yeah, it's the movie TV show based on the new Hollywood model. It worked once. Let's just make a new one. He's on an Irish TV show. He's the imaginary friend of a kid in elementary school, and he has to deal with the kid and all other imaginary friends and other kids.
Okay, that actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that does sound pretty funny.
Yeah, I feel like I'd watch that.
It's like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. You ever watch that?
Oh, I love that
Foster's
show.
Home for Imaginary Friends.
That
is
was
gas.
the dream for me, wishing that was like reality.
Dude, Blue
You know
was
how
funny.
many imaginary friends I'd be popping up with that have, but you know how dangerous the world would be at that point?
Oh yeah, that's a very dangerous world.
You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Like, there comes a point where You have imaginary friends that kids can imagine to do whatever the fuck they want.
That is true.
You have
100%.
some kids that will be real wild. Like there has to be like a prison for imaginary friends too.
Because think about
That'd
this.
be a good series to do.
Yeah,
Prison for imaginary friends. For like those
actually, that's
imaginary
pretty
friends,
funny.
like those imaginary friends of motherfuckers like Charles Manson and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah,
It's as kids,
I like that actually.
right?
Yeah, I do. Now, but he's right. Like that would be a dangerous world because think about what the show Foster's Home for the Imaginary Friends actually presents to the audience is that Blue is kind of a troublemaker, right? And he gets it up into a whole bunch of mischief all the time. And I do think that they even probably have an episode where they're talking about imaginary friends that were made specifically for the intention to like
They were like bad friends
bad
or
friends,
something
yeah.
like that.
They're
Or
like
like
spiky balls and stuff like that.
yeah. But
Uh,
imagine like yeah. But someone like Coco that could just lay eggs that provide just random stuff. Like imagine like just drops an egg that drops a couple grenades.
that has
drops,
happened.
Drops an AR.
That has, oh, I don't know about the AR, but the grenades has happened in the cartoon. I'm like
Yeah.
90% sure.
Because the whole thing with Coco is like, oh, it provides what you need in your situation. Provides something that you need that will help you in your current situation. It's not just random. It's not just randomized as you think. Because every time she lays an egg, like majority of times, there's something in the egg that they always use, or use for something that helps them
Yeah, I think you're right,
in
actually.
some way. Like, so it's usually depending on situation wise what comes out of the egg, and like it may be still kind of random, but at the same time, like it's something that if you can figure it out, it's gonna be useful to you.
At the very least, it's a solid visual gag, right? Every single
But imagine
time.
you just bring Coco and you're in a firefight. It's like, all right,
Shitting out eggs.
yeah, just shitting out eggs full of magazines and clips and guns and grenades and just fucking, you're just sitting there unlimited ammo. Essentially, just you don't even need to aim. You're just sitting there behind some trenches, behind a barricade, just blind shooting, just until you're out of ammo. Just okay, Coco. Okay, I got these. You know what I mean?
So what's funny about Foster's Home for
Grenade launcher. Our dual RPGs. Let's go.
What's funny about Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is it actually did start off as a Cartoon Network original movie, right? And then it was split up into a 3-part episode and then turned into a series.
Yeah. I remember that when that's how they did their pilots.
Yeah, they did a couple of pilots for cartoons.
For Cartoon Network, that's how they like did their pilots. They do like a little mini movie type thing where it's like a 45-minute episode, and then like they'd split something up and be like, oh, like split the episode up into 3 separate ones or something like that, and add a little bit extra into like that third one and make up a little bit extra time. Or like they'd sit there and like just make like an extra 3 episodes. Like, all right, we showed you like the little movie, and here's like our pilot episodes. Like,
You know what
You know?
they didn't do this for this show, but they should have, and that would have made it way more popular, I feel, was they should have done that with Ben 10. Right? They should have made the first like 3 episodes worth of stuff
Yeah.
like a solid
little
movie.
45-minute, like
45-minute to a 60-minute movie, right? For made for TV movie type deal. And then split that up into 3 20-minute episodes. I think that would have resonated with a lot more people because if you think about Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, there are some kids who watched that as a whole movie growing up first and then saw the show. And then when they watch reruns, they see that episodes in particular, and then it like calls back the memory.
Yeah,
So
it's like, wait a minute, they made a whole they dropped a whole thing about this. Why are there separate episodes now? I've seen that.
And even regardless as to whether or not they have a positive or negative view, it recalls that IP to the memory, and it's like, hey, look, think about this again, And I think that's what we want to do is we want to be able to cut these podcasts up into particular clips and be able to say, hey, look, remember when we did this, and call back to things, and it's just for fun all around. That's a form of artistic expression, I feel, when it comes to us doing this, the podcast. There is a level of artistic expression that is not only owed to ourselves, but owed to you, the audience, right? There is a particular person on the other side of this camera, Fizzlegig and everybody else on the other side,
We appreciate all of you.
that is the ideal person to watch, share, and support our content. And we want to encourage and celebrate you and the rest of the audience and making content that you guys would actually watch and buy and make merch that you guys would actually want to purchase, something that you guys would actually wear. I think that that's one of the most important things is to engage with you guys, the fan base. All one of you, Fizzlegig, thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna engage with Fizzlegig real quick because not to cut you off, Marco, but how dare you call me out for that? Well, my starter cartoons were all pretty much anime. Like when I started watching cartoons, it was all anime. It was original Toonami stuff before Tom was on Toonami. That was the OG Toonami before Tom took over.
Wasn't Space Ghost on Toonami?
Yeah, Space Ghost on Toonami. Johnny Quest was on Toonami.
Yeah.
Who knows about Johnny Quest? Talk about Johnny Quest. Let's revive that. That was such a great series. That's where I got my start on Thundercats was Toonami.
Thundercats.
Fucking Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
Inuyasha, Tenchi Muyo, OG Tenchi.
Here comes Toonami.
Yo, but Toonami was the intro for a lot of kids to get in America to get introduced to anime.
Yeah.
You know? Trigun was there, Outlaw Star,
Oh,
Cowboy Bebop.
Voltron.
I remember OG Voltron. Okay.
Yeah. I like Voltron. My dad,
Voltron's cool as fuck.
my dad in Mexico, he has a whole bunch of Voltron and Transformers figures that were like the original metal manufacturing that came from Japan, like one of those first original sets that were just
The Dangerous Metal ones.
Dangerous
like,
Metal, just really quickly rebranded for the Mexican retail market. And I think that some of those stuff when I visited this house was some of the coolest shit that I ever seen. It looks like a time capsule in like the little garage that he has there. And I just like, can we take this stuff back? And he's like, no, this stuff's staying here. It's like, damn. But to see those original Transformers, like the original
robots
Megatron,
in disguise.
the original Megatron Transformer that turns into
Oh,
like
into the gun
the
and a
whole ass
cannon.
handgun. Yeah, dude. Like,
oh, the gun was his OG form.
and it has weight to it because there's metal pieces on those
Yeah.
things. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Also, I'll agree. Yeah, OG Transformers was some anime. Same with He-Man.
Mhm.
Toys That Made Us, great Netflix series, tells the story of He-Man went from toy to anime to a brand. Yeah, I'll agree to that.
Yeah, and I think similar with Transformers, it started off as another thing in Japan, and then
Yeah,
Hasbro quickly picked up on the licensing.
it was like a toy or something like that, and then they was like, "Hey, like we'll make a series out of this."
GoBots, Macross.
GoBots though, and
Yeah.
Macros. Hold on, what's the other one? Conan the Detective.
Oh, Detective Conan. Where
Yeah.
the kid he turns. No, so the guy he turns into the kid.
Yep.
Dude, that was a trip. I wanted to
that
be
was a
Detective
lot-
Conan.
That was a weird one. Poorly drawn.
Yeah.
Old school GI Joe.
So Detective Conan, he had this watch, right? That it would flip up and it would shoot like a tranquilizer
Yeah.
dart to the detective adult, right? And then he used the voice changer to pretend to be the detective adult while he was knocked out and solve the whole case as a knocked out detective. Like
Yeah, some
that
crazy
shit was sick.
Crazy.
I thought that was like the coolest concept. And you're like at 8 to 10 years old watching that and you're like, dude, that's possible? Like what the fuck?
Yo, Gundam.
Oh, Gundam. How?
Yo, one of my favorite Gundam series, I forget the exact name. It might have been Gundam Zero, but it was the one where it was the only Gundam that was like this, where instead of like being a pilot, they went in and like they were pretty much like in a virtual suit, like they were like, in the machine, like in there, but instead of using like controls, like it was their body, so they'd feel the pain and everything.
Oh shit.
It had the dark, yeah, it had the Dark Gundam in it was a thing. It had like, the Gundams had like crest. There was like, yeah, like pretty much Jack, Queen, King.
Oh, I like to
Ace.
use that concept and
Burning Finger was the name of the attack he used.
Oh,
Yeah.
Burning
Finger's my love, my pain, and all my sorrow. Yeah, that was my shit. That was
Oh
my
my
favorite Gundam
God.
series. I will admit.
Are you familiar with the Mexican holiday Santo Reyes?
No.
Okay, so in Christian, Catholic cultures, there's the three wise men, the three kings that give uh, baby Jesus the frankincense, myrrh, and something else, gold, I think it is,
Yeah,
right?
something
When
like that.
he's born, they travel the whole desert to give Jesus that in the Bible or whatever, right? I'm a little faded, but that's the
So
gist of
it's
it,
something similar.
right? Um, and for Mexican culture, Catholic culture, they have Los Santo Reyes, which is the King Saints. On January 7th, they leave gifts out for children, typically like candy and stuff like that, right? So it's like a secondary Christmas
Mm,
for children in terms of like they get another gift a week after Christmas, essentially,
yeah.
right? So this was a nice little treat growing up. I would usually get like candy or something like that. But when I was about 7 years old, my dad, he put two Gundam in my Santo Reyes gift. One was the main Gundam. I don't think it was Gundam Wing, but the main Gundam base unit
Gundam
for
Zero.
probably Zero. And then the one that has like the tank built bulkier looking build that's always used as the opposite side's military. You know what I mean? Like the
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
the generic looking one. I
yeah.
forget that. But that was like my favorite gift growing up. Like my favorite toy receiving. I remember waking up and even better than Christmas that year because Christmas sucked that year. That was the year that I kind of like made resolution with like that you know who wasn't real. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I can't say the name out loud just in case my son's watching. But uh, uh Boofy Fubu, son, dude.
where the fuck you at?
Crim it.
Christmas.
That's okay. Thank you, Logan, for joining us on the chat,
No,
at
no, no,
least.
no, 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 no. Where your ass at?
Uh,
I'm gonna give you a hard time because that's my job.
so yeah, that was one of my favorite gifts growing up. I love Gundam. I have a Gundam T-shirt and the matching hat. I've worn it on the podcast a couple of times. It's one of my podcast outfits. Every single time I wear that shirt and that hat out, somebody compliments me on it. Dude, I like your hat. Dude, I like your shirt. Oh no, they'll always compliment me on my shirt first because everybody who fucks with
See,
Gundam, they fuck with Gundam. And then I'll
yo,
be like, oh, yeah, I had to do the matching fit, and they'll tap my hand down, and then they'll see it on the hat, and they'll be like, oh shit, the matching hat too. And then you're like, you know what I mean? I just gotta show up like that.
yo, but that's the shit though. Like, I love the fact that we're at that point in culture because I remember trying to like wear anything anime when I like growing up, like to school or out in public. No, you were having crippling anxiety because you thought you were gonna get made fun of, and like you would get made fun of by at least one person,
Well, yeah, Chris, you were gonna get made fun of regardless, so.
probably. I was that kid. My
I
behavior
can't I can't rag
my
on you when
my
when,
beha-
when another person's not here because then it just feels like I'm being mean.
my behavior deserved it when I was a kid. At times, sometimes it was just unjustified and people took it too far.
It's okay. I wore cringe stuff all the time. Dude, I can't even believe I can't. I look back on what I wore in high school sometimes, and I'm like, dude, why the hell would you wear that, man? Like,
I'm glad there's like minimal pictures that like exist of me from like being at certain parties or like in school because there were the ones that do. I'm wearing like at least like very casual, normal clothes,
uh
but for the most part, if I was really out, oh no, I was dressing like such a little emo kid.
Uh,
Double.
Fizzlegeek, Fizzlegeek says the basic Guardian enemy suits are called Zaku. That sounds real right
Yeah,
right
yeah, yeah,
there.
okay, yeah, yeah. Zaku's
Launch the Zaku's.
Evangelion. Okay, Evangelion. Code Geass. Oh, the another super OG anime. Oh, I just had the name. Hold on. Oh, it'll come. It's. I'll pull it from my brain. Don't worry. Escaflowne. Escaflowne. That
I
is
don't think I've
such a.
seen that one actually.
That's a great anime to watch. I have the whole series on DVD.
Oh shit,
If
he's
it's something that if you look it up and you're interested to watch, I'll let you borrow it. It's a great fucking series. A lot of decent twists in the story.
Eska Flone?
Yeah, Flowne. Escaflowne.
Visions of Escaflowne.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. That looks interesting.
yeah, real old school
How
one.
much fan service is in it?
Not too much fan service.
Oh, well, then I don't want to watch it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just I watch it for the plot, everyone. All right.
Oh yeah, physical. Damn. See, Physical Geek knew it. Yo, Physical Geek is a fucking G on the anime. Respect.
If the plot doesn't bounce, I'm not really gonna fuck with it, honestly.
I get that.
No, I'm just fucking.
Outlaw Star has a little bit of fan service in it. Outlaw Star's a good one. Space pirates and
Fooly
shit.
Cooley is good. Fooly Cooley. When it comes to anime, I think that's one of the biggest forms of artistic expression as a whole because there's voice acting taken very seriously in that industry. There is animation that's taken very seriously traditionally throughout, that industry's history. And then there's the actual aspect of making a movie that's trying to tell a story. So you have multiple layers on top of that that I feel like animated movies, anime movies are one of the most powerful artistic forms of expression
Oh
that
yeah,
you can have.
Akira.
Yeah, like something like Akira, of
kidding me?
course, 100%.
The like OG staple anime movie.
He says, I have two
Shangri-La Frontier was goaded. That is a goaded anime. Sorry, Marco.
It's okay. He says, I have two monitors and fast fingers. Ladies,
Oh.
watch out.
Ooh. He's double clicking.
He's double clicking. Really funny anime.
Let me make sure the lights are on out there.
You're a light on out there.
Walk through the house.
I think that anime is another avenue to show the desire to create. Because again, through artistic expression, a lot like think of like a watercolor movie, for example, or a movie made like with watercolor. It's painting. It's one of the most like widely understood concepts of art is to paint. Then to take that paint and move it into an animated then to take that paint and move it into an animated format, and then to take that animated format and then tell a story. Those three layers, I feel, are just enough to have a parfait.
Oh, parfaits.
Everybody likes parfaits.
Who don't like parfaits? Parfaits are delicious.
You got a napkin? I'm dribbling.
I love the callbacks. Live for the callbacks. Solo 11 is phenomenal too. Yeah.
Oh, I recently started watching Solo Leveling. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was gonna like it as much as I did. I was pretty invested really quickly.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's great. The story's great. The world building's pretty good. Um, with Physical Geek talking about live action remakes, I will agree. The last time I did see a decent live action remake of any type of anime that I was very shocked at, they did a decent one on Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Just they messed with the story a bit, but I didn't mind it because for what it was good, and they did the effects good. They still stuck to the main baseline of the story, explained everything. So I felt like it was okay. Like the effects weren't over the top. The martial arts were good. They have a few um of the voice actors that were there. And then but top tier that there will never be a better live action like remake for an anime. Rurouni Kenshin.
oh, red hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though the Rurouni Kenshin movies and series like is probably the greatest adaptation for effects, storyline, and the fighting style that's in that movie because it's just samurai skills. But watching him and that shit, like, yo, he trained for that.
Mhm.
Like, that's nothing will get better than that for me.
I think I haven't seen that one in particular, but I think what works best for live
I watched
action
the whole series.
what works best for live action adaptations of anime is probably an anime that doesn't have too many animated sequences, like slice of life anime, psychological thrillers, maybe, something that can easily be replicated with just using human actors. Anything that requires too much CGI or special effects is going to start to degrade in quality or be heavily critiqued because it's really difficult to portray animation in CGI. It's getting easier, right? But it is difficult to begin with. And I feel that just, if it doesn't look like how it looked in your brain, you're not going to like it,
Yeah.
right? If it doesn't feel like how it feels in your brain, you're not going to like it. So running the risk of doing a live action anime adaptation with shoddy special effects, it comes off as cheesy or
Yeah,
campy.
you have to have a real good budget, a really good team if you're gonna have a low budget that like is putting out quality work and they're just passionate about the project so they want to put it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One anime adaptation that I liked was from a romantic slice of life one called From Me to You, Kimi no Todoke, right? That one is just a typical high school love story, and they did a really good job doing a live action the live action adaptation of it because there wasn't any special effects that went super hard. It's just regular high
Yeah.
school stuff.
I feel like something that they could do a really good job on, but still easily butcher it because it's in the realm of like limited special effects, but it still requires a good amount, a very good amount, would be Berserk. Because you could do a live action Berserk, but you would easily fuck it up real quick though too. But there's plenty of people and actors I feel like, especially in this day and age, that are like passionate about like anime nerdy stuff. You know what I mean? Like that you could get to play those types of roles and like they'll actually go in for it.
Yeah, Fizzle Gig says that's why book remakes always get hated on. I think that's true. Any kind of book adaptation will always get hated on if it doesn't fit how it's written.
It's always going to be hated on because ultimately they always have to leave a lot of stuff out to make any type of like adaptation from books into like watchable movies without making too much of a series. Hey, he's here. Without making too much of a series or like elongating it too much that people are going to lose interest in wanting to come see the sequels of all that movies in the series. So I got distracted by you coming in, but ultimately,
That's what she said.
yeah.
By
But
coming in, what?
yeah, but ultimately, I feel like I appreciate things like The Hobbit, even though like I've read some of the books. I didn't finish the whole series. I have to go back to that. But as much as there's a lot of things I want them to fill in the blanks for, I appreciate what they did and the vision that they took to make it into a movie. As much as I still feel like they robbed us of a lot of important story.
So, boys,
Same with Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
Have we-
Everything like that.
have we talked about the Acolyte?
Not yet.
Have we talked about the Acolyte, guys?
We have not talked about Acolyte.
How about the Acolyte, boys?
All right, I'm gonna give my opinion first, and I'll let y'all go, and I'll keep quiet.
So, what do we think about the Acolyte?
Acolyte was good for what it was. I did appreciate, getting to see like aspects that we haven't seen before, like the Wookiee Jedi finally, even though he was already canon. I'm glad they finally actually legit made him canon. Chimera was actually pretty interesting. I loved the fact of like his whole like dual saber thing. His saber fighting was interesting. They did make it a little bit too much like Matrix. I did kind of wasn't too invested and didn't really like OSHA's storyline, to be honest. I felt like the bleeding of the Kyber crystal was very cheapened and very lessened to what that is supposed to be symbolically and like the trial and like the real like test that you're supposed to do to like really bleed a crystal like that to get your red saber. And I'm mad that they teased Darth Plagueis and then they got canceled for season 2, so that project's pretty much canceled for now, in lack of a better term. After teasing such a big reveal, because that could have been a very interesting thing to go down. And then the characters weren't really well developed. It felt like a very rushed storyline. You know what I mean? Because they were trying to cram too much in because they didn't know if they were going to get a second season. So they did too much too soon.
Yes.
And blurred too much together and introduced too much new things together. And then that's my take.
Yeah.
And the director and some of the actors and people involved in that did also not handle the media well and reception well. And you don't attack a fan base ever. You know what I mean? You take fan base criticism, especially with something as passionate and as long going as Star Wars fan base, with respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't fight back against them. You don't backtalk them.
I do
unless you're George Lucas.
I do feel like, yeah, most of the time it's the job of the fans to be outraged for certain things. I mean, sometimes it's not justified, but sometimes people put their entire lives towards something, and it's not like we can't push them to the side because something that they interpret as being true to them, we kind of have to leave those things up to interpretation sometimes.
So, my take on it, everything that Chris said in the beginning and like throughout, as far as the main points contending to like the show itself, I 100% agree with. My biggest issue with it is that I didn't feel like it felt like it was tied to Star Wars lore. I
Yeah.
didn't see where it connected to Star Wars and the wider picture. Like personally, like I saw where they were trying to connect it, but it just didn't feel like it had an impact. It didn't feel like it mattered, right? To like this, it didn't feel like any of what I was watching like really mattered. It was just kind of like, oh, it's cool to know
Especially like the whole thread thing.
everything, right? I liked what they were doing. Don't get me wrong. It was a cool story that they had going on. I just didn't feel like it mattered to what was going on with the rest of Star Wars. And I feel like because of it didn't matter, a lot of people did have hatred for it, but they really couldn't find anything in particular to hate. So when they started attacking like the director, the actors for particular things, there was like a lot of it was fueled by, by bigotry, you know, racism and anti-bigotry and being bigot because like when they say ruining Star Wars, it's like okay, well, what do you mean by ruining Star Wars? And a lot of people don't have the articulation of saying, okay, well, it doesn't feel like it's connected to the lore, right? They just say, oh, it's woke, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. But it's like, well, the reality of the situation is why it didn't hit with you is because it's not connecting to the lore. It didn't feel
Yeah.
like it was Star Wars to
It
you.
wasn't really woke. In
Yeah, it
perspective.
wasn't.
It had a few ideals that maybe pushed through, but ultimately, like, it did feel like a lot of rip-offs of other things, like you said, not connected to Star Wars.
Yeah, it really just didn't feel like it was connected to Star Wars. I think that was its biggest downfall. Why it wasn't connected to Star
You
Wars?
have Trinity from the Matrix coming out first.
You have why it wasn't connected to Star Wars. Many reasons as to that being both like the director and other executives that have their hand in the pot, right? But that's ultimately why I feel like it failed. Now, did I like it for what it was? Yes, I liked it for what it was. But my biggest take is it just didn't connect with Star Wars lore, and that's why it didn't do so hot. And if it really had connected with Star Wars, and they had pulled it off and say, hey, look, this is essential viewing for a Star Wars fan. If they had marketed it in that way, it wouldn't have had the problems that it did. Because then anybody who did watch it could be like, well, this is why it's good. Look at The Mandalorian. Every little bit of extra fluff, every extra detail that they're walking through all the corridors is like, oh, this was the cloning facility. Oh, there's shots and point outs to other bits of Star Wars lore that it was just in the prequels or is about to take place in the next movies, right? But Acolyte didn't have that. It had references to the High Republic era. It had references to Dark Plagueis, but not enough to actually connect the dots.
Yeah, it was too much of just teasing a bunch of stuff and like not enough. Yeah, there wasn't anything connecting it to anything relevant that they're trying to put out right now. Like, because there's no real relevant storylines to that older part in like the Star Wars timeline right now. Everything is like towards the future.
The throwing
the
out of
Empire.
the novels, comic books, etc., and then said we're going to make our own Star Wars. You have to acknowledge that the throwing out of that
the extended universe.
the throwing out of that stuff was not a decision that was solely hers, right? But rather as Lucasfilm as a whole being bought out by Disney, right? So some of these, this is what I'm saying, like some of these decisions are outside of the director's hands, right? And it becomes an issue of how executives handle things, how the director handle things, right? How actors handle feedback.
Yeah, but we can't like.
There's just too many layers to say, hey, look, this is what it is.
There's layers, but we can't act like that Disney isn't a part of all of those layers in every form, and kind of put on that whole thing of like not really producing the source material or kind of just doing shitty remakes.
So if in the video that I shared with our group chat earlier, they go in to say how they brought in writers who were already familiar with Star Wars since they were young, writers who were barely new to Star Wars, and at least one writer that had absolutely nothing to do with Star Wars, like was not
That's where
following.
they went wrong.
And I think I think Chris is right on that.
100%.
That is
Everybody had to know about Star Wars if you're going to be involved in the Star Wars project. You can't.
All people want is explanations, and they want to see what they've seen in like comics or say the Clone Wars animated series. They want to see those things in live action. They want explanations for example, in The Force Awakens, how Mars or whatever gets Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. There's no explanation for that.
Mm.
People are dying for that explanation, and they just skipped over it in The Force Awakens.
And the real reason as to like how that happened, right? As the video
I think
shows,
they made comics about it.
as the video shows, is like there's a whole bunch of different executives, and again, other writers that were all like too many people had their hands in the pot to that, like financially speaking, right? Too many different executives had financial stake in this movie, so too many different people wanted to have their own say, and then it ended up muddying up the whole thing. You have to let one single director, and you like they should have done is let the director just do what she wanted to, right? Because then she would have stuck to the actual, like she's been on record to say, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I wanted to stick with the original High Republic stuff that was in the novels, but Disney said we can't use it. And like Logan's right, like we can't act like Disney to some extent isn't like to every extent involved in every layer of that.
Yeah.
That's not a
So-
problem that's exclusive to Disney, though.
Exactly.
That's just how large scale Hollywood and production operates in this day and age, because in order to make these productions, you need to have money from everybody because it's such a high production value. It's like, oh, it's a bet, it's a risk.
Yeah.
Everybody trying to get all this money into it to make as much money out of
And
it.
you're gonna look at the fucking shittiest producer of it because they're one of the biggest producer of movies in general. They produce a lot of movies. They're gonna produce a lot of shit, especially if they have to deal with all these financial issues. So it's
Yeah.
like that's the reason why we judge them so harshly, is because that is their whole shtick. And yeah, they are getting worse at it because of these reasons. And that's not how it was back in the day. They were able to make original good movies that people genuinely liked, but now I don't know with I haven't really watched a new Disney movie in forever. All these new freaking, I haven't seen anything. Maybe Inside Out was the last Disney Pixar movie that I've seen, and that's actually a good movie.
Technically speaking, Wolverine Deadpool is a Disney movie.
Oh, and yeah, technically, I mean,
Yeah, anything Marvel.
let's consider it like animated Disney movie.
Oh, animated Disney movie?
Yeah.
Inside Out was the last thing that you saw.
Inside Out.
That's a good one to have seen, though.
But and that was what?
I
When did
haven't
that come
looked
out? Fucking 2015, 2016, some shit like that.
2012, bro.
Oh my fuck! No way.
Damn.
Yeah, that was the last Disney Pixar movie that I was at all
I
interested
don't
in,
remember the last one I've seen.
and it was actually good. It was a good movie,
Um,
and I'm not saying none of the
I
movies.
feel like I've seen some newer ones, but I just don't remember them. I've only
2015,
I've,
yes.
only,
2015, you were right. I was wrong.
I've only watched them from like babysitting, essentially. or,
It's
like,
honestly a
just family
really good
function
movie.
shit.
You will cry if you watch that
Yeah,
movie.
100%. Most recent Pixar movie.
I feel like I have seen that one.
So the one that I've seen most recently, I've seen Inside Out too. Probably that one.
Not one of these have I seen.
I-
Not fucking one.
Yeah. I saw Inside Out too. I haven't seen Elio yet.
Elemental, I've seen clips for, and it looks pretty interesting. And that's probably one of the most like outside of the box things that they've done in a while.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I think that one. I would watch that one low key because I have seen clips that I was like, oh, this seems like a genuinely like good kids movie. Keep going to the right.
Let's see. Lightyear.
Nothing.
I did not like Lightyear. So here's my gripe with Lightyear is that
What movie are we talking about?
Lightyear right here,
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear.
I'm just making it clickable.
My grip with Pixar's Lightyear is that in the beginning of the movie they say, hey, look, this is what the action figure Buzz Lightyear in the Toy Story film is based off of, but it didn't really resonate with what it felt like that action figure would be based off of, if that makes sense.
Was it more like the? I didn't see it, so I would. What was it
So
like?
I'll give you guys the rundown of the plot. So in this movie, Buzz Lightyear.
Didn't they make him gay?
No, they didn't make it. Well, at least
Not fully gay.
I always saw things. I saw things that made Buzz Lightyear gay.
I don't think that's hinted at. No, there is his what you call it. his not business partner, his what you call it, field partner. So he's like an astronaut, right? They go out to assess planets to make sure that they're viable for human life, right? He has a partner with him in that task, and in doing that task, she their one shot at actually saving people, saving Earth, saving humanity is to slingshot Buzz around the sun and go back in time, essentially, right?
So it's like some interstellar shit.
Essentially that, right?
What the hell? No way.
So, which is a cool film. No, like the movie is good, but
Cool in theory.
it's a great movie on its own. It suffers the same issue that Acolyte has. It's a great movie on its own. Why'd you have to tie it to Toy Story, right?
Yeah, it could have just been by its own standalone thing.
Yeah,
They had to try and
Because
they're trying to piggyback.
Zurg
Yeah.
in Toy Story goes, "Buzz, I am your father," and of course it's a reference to Star Wars, right? But that should be part of the lore, and in Lightyear, that's not part of the lore, right?
Which is crazy.
It's the biggest sin of the movie, I feel, which would be fine. How they handled it would be fine if it wasn't tied to Toy Story, if it wasn't tied to Buzz Lightyear. Same thing with the Acolyte. How they handled it would have been fine if it wasn't tied to Star Wars.
Or at least if they.
All right,
You know,
so keep going after Luca.
Turning Red was good.
I heard a lot of people didn't like it.
You
I
have
haven't seen
to
any
understand
of these.
adolescence.
I haven't seen any of these. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
keep
okay.
going. I'll let,
Take
you
us
know,
with a
I'll let you
pin-
know when I've seen
Sorry,
something.
sorry. I'll take this with a pinch of salt. I have seen none of these, and I'm really just kind of going off, for lack of a better word, other people's opinions.
Yeah. I'm not even going off that. I'm just going to say keep going until I say I see something.
It's not letting me go further past that.
Damn.
So
Okay, so
let's go back to
okay.
2020.
Never heard of Loop. Never heard of
Oh,
Onward.
no, I've seen Onward.
Never heard
Onward's
of
good.
I've seen
Out.
Onward. It was actually
I've
pretty
seen
good.
Soul. I've seen clips of it. I still haven't actually seen it though. I haven't seen up to Burrow 22 versus Earth.
Yeah,
What the
okay.
fuck is that?
I've seen Onward.
These are short
That's it.
films. These are
Oh,
short
okay.
films.
Luca, I still haven't seen.
Nona's a
20-something
short film.
Nona,
None of this.
as far as
Yeah.
all right, Turning Red. Nope. Literally nothing. So people, yeah, man.
And these kids used to be like kind of slightly marketed for adults to have to watch with
Yeah.
their parents, but now because of streaming, you can just set your kid on an iPad or sit them in front of a TV. And you
Guys,
can walk away and not have to be forced to sit with them. all
Don't
the
do
time.
that. Please don't do that.
I would watch Chicken
I do
Little.
that sometimes.
I would
No,
watch
but
Chicken Little.
that's why.
Guys, I would watch Chicken Little right now. Put on Chicken
Chicken
Little.
Little?
Chicken Little
I'm
was my
strapped to
shit.
that fucking movie. That is a kids movie, dude. But that is like a kids movie that I could get behind, dude. How original is that freaking movie?
You know that movie saved Disney?
I believe it, dude.
Yeah.
That movie is insanely original, dude. I've never seen anything that's like been like that. Animals personified and the story behind it, like hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
And it has really good visual gags too. He goes with the what are they called, with the cue cards for
Yeah.
the mayor?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a cute short animated film. That it is. That was that was a good one.
Never seen it.
It's this little
It's
Your
about
Chicken
making
Little
vows.
is my
Yeah.
Goonies.
Right, well, yeah, it is. It's about making milk.
I don't know.
I've never-
A dude is
So,
about.
Yeah, Goonies never say die.
when I see the Goonies, I feel weird because I know people are nostalgic about it and I've seen it all my life, but it's still like I can't. Every time I've seen it, I was a kid, so I still can't relate to it. So I've never seen it as an adult. Is what I'm trying to say.
I was able to relate to it as a kid.
Goonies never say die.
Trying to go on adventures like that with your friends. Just
oh
trying to
fucking
get in, like,
what's his name?
tomfoolery.
What's his name? The one of the main actors. It's not Charlie Sheen. It's the guy who looks like Charlie Sheen. Felton, something.
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. There we go. That fool got
I don't know
molested
the
or
He
whatever.
got
name.
diddied.
They got diddied by Michael
Oh,
Jackson. And
Josh
shit.
Brolin's in that.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin is in that.
Sean Astin's in that. Samwise Gamgee.
Samwise Gamgee. Fucking Rudy.
What,
I didn't know
what-
Goonies like that,
The
honestly.
kid from that was just in Loki or whatever. Kui Kwan.
Your mom.
Oh, he was in there, yeah.
Yeah, he was in
I
that.
like that guy. He's in Everything Everywhere All at Once as well.
Yeah. You said Corey Feldman looks like who?
Looks like who?
Like
Charlie
Logan?
Sheen.
Not really. I mean, young Corey Feldman, maybe with that haircut. Oh, I'm yawning. Fuck.
I
Why
don't
do I
know.
keep yawning? My bad.
I
Chat.
always confuse them. Whenever I saw either one, I would always be like, "Oh, that's who." Data.
Yeah, Data. Yeah, that was his character's name. Quick Kwan.
Quick.
Bro, Kill Bill is such a fucking good movie.
Kill Bill's pretty good.
Dude, Kill Bill's fucking awesome. Can you imagine seeing that as a kid and being like, "What am I watching?" The first time I saw Kill Bill with my dad was like, "Oh yeah, you're in for one right now."
I feel like
He was like, "Just keep watching. Just keep
Wasn't there
watching,
an
bro."
I feel like
animated
I
Kill
just
Bill?
watched like a bunch of like movies like that though young.
Wasn't there an animated Kill Bill?
No, there's animated parts in Kill Bill.
But sorry, like a full animated, like 30-minute thing.
I don't know about that, but yeah, there's literally animated parts in Kill Bill when
I know, yeah,
when they're
there
talking
is.
about O-Ren Ichi. Yep, told you. Yeah, you're confuzzled, my friend.
Yeah, it's just in the movie.
It's just in the movie. Maybe
Yeah.
I seen like a compilation of.
Well, dude, it's
something.
literally like a
9
it's her
minute.
whole freaking like
It just
little
said
thing.
it just said it's like a 9-minute scene
Yeah.
up at the top in
So,
there.
yeah, it probably just felt long in your brain.
Yeah, probably.
That's what she
Yeah,
said.
nearly 9-minute animated sequence.
Yep.
Your mom's
And
a
it's
9-minute
fire,
animated
bro.
sequence.
It's fire.
Somewhere probably.
And that's why
AI is the son of a bitch.
Hey, hi's a son of a bitch.
and it's such good animation, dude, and they kill it. Dude, that movie's so fucking sick, bro.
So Logan, your whole apocalyptic.
Oh, my apocalyptic plan?
Yeah.
Damn.
Your
Have
whole
we talked about it?
Huh? No, not your apocalyptic plan, like for apocalypse, but like
Oh.
the one for your animation that you're thinking of. What's a working story that you're thinking of with that?
I haven't really thought of it too much. Put the Way of the Gun from 2000 your list to watch. Huh, will do. Damn, yeah, you're putting me on the spot.
I am putting you on the spot right now.
I haven't thought about this at all. Shit.
So the setting is post-apocalyptic America. What's the apocalypse? How did the apocalypse happen?
Yeah. What caused the apocalypse? Start with that. That's what you have to decide first
Yeah, World
to get
War.
along with your plot.
Is that like a hack cheap thing to go as post-apocalypse?
No, it's not. It's not a
No.
hack. It's a trope.
It's a valid idea.
Yeah, it's a trope for
So
sure.
should we go with AI? Should we, because that's the easy one to go with?
Okay, is it like Terminator?
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck,
Yeah.
it's too easy.
How
no,
you
dude, it's not, dude.
No, you just
don't.
have to figure out how you're gonna make it different.
Yeah, right. Don't think about
If
that.
you're
It's
gonna
too
go-
easy.
If you're gonna go AI, you have to figure out like, all right, what's been done with like AI that's been popular that
Yeah.
I can kind of do that's but
Yeah.
also different.
How do I do that but different?
AI created a virus that when we touch our phones, we get infected, like a HIV type thing. Then you're
Jesus
just a ticking
Christ,
time
an
bomb ready to
HIV?
die.
Okay, so it's like
HIV.
The Happening, but with cell phones.
With cell phones, that's basically COVID.
The Happening.
First, it goes from HIV to COVID.
It's the movie The Happening, but
HIV and COVID
COVID?
together.
COVID?
It's COVID. It's Diddyvid.
the Hovid, the
Oh.
Hoviding.
The Diddyvid.
The Diddy.
Honestly, I'm liking what is happening. Okay, so like post-apocalyptic, is it like
Did he
deserty all
create-
over the world,
And
or
that's
what?
the twist. Did he create the AI?
Okay.
And
One at a
everybody
time.
wakes up with pools of baby oil.
What'd you say?
So with the post-apocalyptic, is it just like people are dead everywhere, and is it more like The Last of Us kind of
No,
post-apocalyptic?
more like a Book of Eli.
Okay.
Book of Eli.
Book of Eli is pretty solid.
Book of Eli is so fucking
Yeah.
sick, bro. That fool was blind the entire time, dude. One of the sickest parts that they do in that movie that I saw, he comes into the shop to get his iPod charged because it's out of battery, and the dude's like, yeah, I could charge that for you if you got the coin. And he's like, oh yeah, I got the coin. Fumbles around in his bag for a lighter, and when he lights it, he puts his hand over the lighter to make sure that it actually came on. And when you're watching that and you don't know that he's blind, it just looks normal. Like he's just like, oh yeah, look, it's working. But then when you know the context, the fact that he's blind,
He's making sure that's
he's
on.
making sure that it's on because you
Yeah.
can flick it and it can't be on
Yeah.
and you wouldn't know. And I'm like, yo, I never would have known, bro. Never would have
I
fucking
think
known.
I was working the movie theater when that came out.
And dude,
I watched that a few times.
I don't even think I saw that movie with my dad. I still don't even think that he thought that he was actually blind. He probably just thought that he knew Braille. Everyone in the theater, I guarantee, was just like,
I
yeah, he just knows Braille.
I figured from the second that he was reading Braille, I was like, oh, he's blind.
That's what I
No
would think.
way.
That's what I would think.
Because
The
like,
moment
why,
somebody's
why,
reading-
why else are you reading Braille if you're not blind?
Yeah,
No one just picks that up.
Fuck. You're
Yeah.
right. That's a good point.
yeah.
I knew that from the second I saw him reading Braille. Now
The moment he reads Braille,
I was like,
you're like,
okay.
oh, this fool's blind.
And he's always wearing sunglasses. I was like, oh, he's blind.
I was like, oh, he's on some Anne Frank shit.
Yeah, or no, I thought it was like, oh, he's on some Daredevil shit.
Blind Furry with Rutger Hauer. I've never seen that. I have no idea. what
Not
that is.
Anne Frank. Oh my god, I meant Helen Keller. I'm such an idiot. I am so sorry.
Bro, hey, apparently there's something about Helen Keller being like a fraud because her teacher was essentially like feeding her the lines and it was like fake.
Why did Helen Keller's dog kill itself?
Okay, here we go. Why?
You kill yourself too if your name was
Stupid.
bad joke in poor taste from my childhood. It was when we used to look up like, oh, what's bad jokes on the internet?
It's just a picture of Chris.
Essentially, at this point, might as well be. Got in trouble for repeating those all the time.
Chris, what about you? Is there an animated story that you could picture yourself making? Boil it down to 5 minutes or less.
An animated story that I could picture myself making.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I came up with a concept for this once.
Well, we're talking animated. That's completely different.
No.
You can still make it animated.
That was the medium that I was.
You're animated. Mimi.
Um,
You're animated.
Mimi.
You're animated. Bean did. Rafflemow. Dun,
Fuck.
dun, dun, dun.
I forget what it was.
Rafflemow.
All
Dun,
right.
dun, dun,
If I really had to think about it, if I'm just gonna go off with like a quick one,
Yeah.
it was something to do with like a set of twins where one twin comes out like regular, the other twin has an ability, comes out like malnourished or whatever,
Ooh.
but secretly discovers a way that he can like steal life and starts recovering or whatever. But also every time he steals life, his brother just always ends up like the other twin brother ends up like getting sick and diminishing at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
So, and then the older brother ends up like kind of coming into power, and like
Ew.
the younger brother has to figure out
He's what in the
how to find a strength and tap into a similar ability or something similar of his own where he can kind of combat.
Yeah. So he has a physical disadvantage, right? But then there's like an extra force that gives him the advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
And
have to balance it out.
Yeah. And then the younger brother has to find some type of like technique or like like some type of like martial art or something that allows him to tap into like, life force and chi or something like that.
Okay.
Where even if his body's physically weaker,
Uh-huh.
and he doesn't have the same like life steal ability, he can combat his brother by, even if he's not stealing the life,
Uh-huh.
he can still keep batting it out of him.
Okay.
So even if his life force is diminishing, he can still like harness and focus his chi and his energy
Sure.
to where he can control it, where he at least enough where he's not going to die, or like he can direct it.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
I can see that
When he's getting hit,
I can
or
visualize
what's
that.
getting stolen.
Mhm.
You're gonna
But every
die.
time he hits his brother with certain techniques,
Mhm.
the life force is constantly getting taken out of him.
Yeah.
And after a point, if he's the only one he's facing, he can't keep taking anything.
Yeah, that's
So
a good
he just-
balance
He
concept.
slowly diminishes him until ultimately it has to end and they both die. It's like a final fight. Like you think one, but it makes you think like, oh, one of them's gonna walk away or whatever. But like, there's that final moment where it's like a one final hit, where it's like not even a hit. It's like the brother that was trying to fight the evil twin that was malnourished or whatever, just ends up doing like one last little like tap, like a Itachi on the Sasuke forehead, like one little, and just they both collapse and die.
Fizzle Geek says, To Hogan's
Isaac.
good take on a familiar concept.
Isaac.
And then to what you were saying, he says similar to Prestige, The Parent Trap, Dead Ringers, Man in the Iron Mask.
Tito, what's good?
We got Isaac, we got Tito in the chat. Thank you for joining us.
Hit it with the like, boys. Hit it with the like.
Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for commenting already. Don't forget to like and
Rips all
subscribe.
around.
Hey, fucking Tito, hit him with that 8 inches thick. You know what I'm saying?
It really happened.
It really happened.
That's why they call him Teeter.
Teeter the heater.
Teeter the Heater.
Tito.
From downtown.
Tito 1 5 2 3.
Wait,
It's always
to the homies.
waves to the homies.
Hi.
Be like,
But I feel like if I had to come up with something, it'd be like something along
Like
the
that.
lines of that. Like, you know, some type of like power struggle like that, but ultimately ends in like a tragic, you know,
Mhm.
a tragic end. With I wanted to also have like unanswered questions though. Like I want people to like have like
cliffhanger.
yeah,
Mhm.
like but that's the series finale. There's never gonna be any sequel. There's never gonna be anything more. Like I want there to be open-ended like things for people to try to go back and analyze.
God damn.
Because some of those might be able to be answered. Like I'll leave some things be able to be answered by rewatching or like reanalyzing, but there will be a few things that would be like, no, just
You got to rewatch for lore.
there's no explanation to this.
Mhm.
This is literally just what it is, and I left this like this for that reason.
I took a 0.6 dab for y'all. I'm a little hurt. Thank you, Isaac.
I think I remember you telling us about that show, Fizzle.
My show idea is called Monday Morning Guy.
Remember he was talking about that one time when he was I do remember you commenting this though. I swear I remember this.
For me in particular, I feel
Isaac, you took a fucking 0.6? That's fucked, dude.
he'll be fine.
G.
He'll take it. We've seen you take it before.
All right, Marco's idea.
So for me, I have one that's based off of the zodiac signs. It's heavily inspired by Bleach, so it's basically the same concept. It
Knights
has-
of the Zodiac, but with Bleach.
It's basically Knights of the Zodiac, but with Bleach. He's not wrong. It is 100% that.
nice.
So it's essentially spirits that guide dead people's. Sorry, it's a guardian spirit that guides dead people's spirits into the afterlife, right? And basically, people get sorted and categorized by their zodiac sign in the afterlife, right? And that guardian spirit is the zodiac sign to particularly deal with those types of people.
Not
right?
the Zodiac.
Yeah, it's just something that fits, right?
Okay.
Because it works with the perfect 12, and I can use the hexagon over and over again in terms of imagery, right? And I really like hexagons, right? I could always settle for 6, but why do 6 when you could do 12? Why do 12 when you could do 24?
It's
right?
it's easy to divide and like be able to do a lot of symbolism shit with that.
Symbolism is
24 when you could do 9?
symbolism is very strong with the and very popular. So there's a lot of marketing potential behind it, right? But ultimately, what'll end up happening is that an evil force gets unlocked, and more like a Pandora's box type situation. The 7 sins take over like the world, right? Or like infect the
So
population.
7 sins versus 12 Zodiac.
Yeah. That's like season 1 type shit, right? And then season 2 is when there's like anti-Zodiac, right? Based off of like the 13 Ghosts, right? From that movie, The 13 Ghosts with the
Okay.
glass house and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. So
That's actually a pretty good movie.
yeah. And then 3 is when I really take it off course, and everybody hates me for me taking this off course, is when you find out that all this shit's tied to actual aliens. And everybody's like, no, why the fuck did you make it tied to aliens? It was so cool when it was the Zodiac and shit like that. And I was like, because I fucking want to. It was always aliens.
Because you tried to milk the series.
Yes.
You milked the series, bro.
I did the Naruto. I did the Naruto route. The Masashi Kishimoto. I turned it into aliens.
Yeah. That's where Boruto crashed.
Yeah.
He said, oh shit, that would work on every chick on the planet. Thank you.
It worked.
Thank you, Fizzle Gig. That's all the validation I needed.
It would.
With
There'd
a
be so many cosplays.
With a little super powered twist.
That's actually going to be, and there's going to be tons of plot.
Watch
If you know what I mean.
Sins anime. I might give you some guidance.
7 Deadly Sins is
You
a huge
can watch
inspiration.
it up until a certain season, and then the animation just fucking goes garbage.
I think one of the best animes to get you to love some like character and then kill him off immediately is Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
They do that every time that you're just pulling for them. You're like, finally, they're gonna pull through. Never mind, everyone's dead again.
Yep. So okay, no, we're gonna like damn near kill all those characters.
Oh, that fool just got munched in half. Oh, there goes another one.
This
Oh,
is
and
why
another
there's
one.
Oh, this person was like the core of the group. We're just gonna have this little child shoot her through the heart right now that you chose to save instead of just letting die.
Yep.
I low key like
Fuck that
stories
little girl
that
for
like make
shooting
me.
Gabby.
I low key like stories that just make me go through emotional turmoil like that, though. Right.
Oh, dude, that scene in Berserk, bro. That scene in Berserk where Griffith is
Fuck that.
doing that thing. Yeah, we all know what that
How dare you?
what we're talking about. I was actually disturbed. But that part when the fucking crazy spectral knight comes and saves Guts and he goes to stab the Griffith, he sets a portal and then when that portal comes up behind him, he puts his shield and blocks his own sword.
Yeah. that's
One of
pretty-
the most gangster things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Probably one of the sickest fight like type scenes. I was like, when I saw that, oh god, so great. I think it's the Spectral Knight. I don't know what his name is. It's something like that. It's like something crazy.
I forget. It's been a minute.
But that was clippable right there. We got clips.
Anything that gives a character, I like the shows that do go through a lot of different side characters and then just explore like how they died or why their story is so tragic. There's even like dramas on Netflix. I forget the name of this one in particular I'm thinking of, but in the afterlife, this woman she finds herself connected with other people in the afterlife, and in every single episode, like or actually multiple times throughout the episode, they're going through how each of those people died, and it's always the most tragic thing. Like one dude, his wife was developing dementia, and he had colon cancer, and because nobody was going to be able to take care of his wife after he died because they couldn't afford like medicine or the medical bills or the surgery or whatever the hell it was, he decided to take his and his wife's life by driving them off of a bridge into the water. Right. So in the afterlife, he's dripping wet, right? Like the entire time because he died in the water, right? And because his wife had dementia and she didn't have a whole lot of memories left, and the way that the afterlife works in that show is like it's based off of memories. She didn't get to go to the afterlife, right? But the one thing that did make it to the afterlife was the one thing that her brain could remember, which was a scarf that she was knitting for him before he found out that he had cancer and before her dementia set in. Right, so she never got to give him that scarf, and it's like this huge, very sad thing. And by the end of it, I'm fucking in tears, and I'm like, "Why did?" Seriously, yeah. So, with that having said, don't forget to check us out on Talking High Culture if you want to support what we do here, right? If you want to support all the anime talk that we do, if you want to support our own animations and our own endeavors and what we're choosing to put out there into the world, and to support us as broskies, and to support you guys and be able to do more stuff for you guys, check us out on talkinghighculture.com. Check us out on patreon.com/talkinghighculture. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, which is what you're on right now, and all of our other platforms. And with that, we want to ring out the night.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I just double liked right there, but that's what you should do anyway. Make sure you just tapping on it all day. Make sure you share us. And sorry,
Share us. No, he's right. No, he's right. Share us. Share
Damn.
us.
This motherfucker always throwing me off. But anyway, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. We wouldn't be able to keep doing this without you and our growing community. Keep it up.
We love you guys. This is Talking High Culture, and we wouldn't be anything without you. We need you. We're always filming, and we're going to be having more stuff in the works, so you better watch out. Like, comment, and subscribe, as always.
So you spelled my name wrong, Fizzle Gig.
KRIS.
And Isaac, I have no idea at the moment. Have a good
Have a
night.
good night, Tito. Thank you.
Later, y'all.
All right, cool.